Good morning. How are you guys doing? Can you hear me okay? Okay. My cat thinks she wants to stay in the room, but she really doesn't. So we'll see how long that lasts. I tried to get her out and she just ran over somewhere else in the room. So very helpful. I'm going to wait about 1 more minute before I start our Mindfulness Monday exercise. And it's a little meditation video that we're going to do. And it's 3 minutes. So a lot of you have your cameras off right now. And I will let you have your camera off during our Mindfulness Monday. And the reason I'm going to let you have your camera off is because it wants you to close your eyes. And I don't know about you, but it's a little awkward sitting in front of a video camera like this when you feel like everyone's staring at you. So I will let you turn off your cameras just for that Mindfulness Monday part. Okay? All right. I just want to make sure I was doing it in the last class, and you know, the ding dong of the doorbell in the middle of your mindfulness Monday might be a little less than wonderful, right? All right. So when I share my screen with you, if you guys could please, I changed some display settings. And so if you guys could please let me know if you can hear it and see it before we start. Okay. So can you see my screen
Mindful
first?
breathing.
Yes.
Can you hear it?
Close your eyes
Yes.
and rest your hands on your knees.
Okay. I'm going to start it over. Feel free to turn your camera off if you want, just for this part. Okay.
Mindful breathing. Close your eyes and rest your hands on your knees. Bring your attention to the touch of your body on your seat. Feel the weight of your body on your chair or cushion. Make sure that your back is straight and that you're comfortable. Take a few deep breaths. While you're breathing deeply, relax your shoulders, your stomach muscles, the muscles in your face, your hands, and your legs. Let go of all the tightness in your body. Now bring your attention back to your breath. Notice what it feels like as it enters through your nose, goes down through your throat, filling your lungs, and back out through your nose. Notice your stomach and chest rise and fall each time you breathe in and each time you breathe out. And just allow your breathing to be natural and relaxed. Now bring your attention to the feeling of your breath in your nose. Feel your breath as it comes in and goes out. Just focus on this sensation, paying attention to each time you breathe in and each time you breathe out. As you inhale, maybe your breath feels cool. And as you exhale, maybe it feels a little warmer. When your mind wanders, or if you become distracted, just notice what's going on in your head, and then gently bring your attention back to your breath, going in and out. Focus on the feeling of your breath and allow thoughts and feelings to come and go in the background. Now gently bring your attention back to the touch of your body on your seat and open your eyes.
All right. Turn your cameras back on. Hopefully you're not asleep because you were so relaxed. That is a great exercise. I don't know about you, but I forget to be mindful, right? I forget to put myself in this place right now because I have a lot going on. So I think about all the other things I need to do instead of what I'm really doing right that second. So it's important that we really stay in this place. I'm going to post these slides on Canvas like I have in the past, and all these links are live on those PDFs. So if you have found that meditating or taking time for yourself is helpful to you, you can save these videos and just use them at your leisure, because I think that is very helpful for a lot of you. I know that a lot of you have said it on your reflection that you appreciate taking that extra time. So it is important. We only do it on Mondays. I hope some of you are keeping this practice in mind every day, especially when you get really, really busy. You know, it's midterms right now, so some of you might have tests or projects or big activities coming up, and just maybe you have work, maybe you have some other stress getting in the way. So make sure you take time for yourself and take care of yourself. So that being said, we have new material we're covering today. If you checked on Canvas, I put a bunch of assignments up for this week. So I know some of you have time, you know, different times of the day or different times of the week that you want to get going on some things. So you can work ahead. You just might have to use the videos for help. I also put on our bookshelf in our virtual classroom the probability sections on there. And I also put them on the slides link as well. So if you haven't looked in our textbook and you've been struggling, maybe reading is better for you than videos. So you might want to check those readings out. Okay. So we should get through 4-4 this week, at least starting 4-4 on Thursday. And then next week we'll be continuing 4-4, and we have 4-5. I can't remember if there's a 7 in this. There might even be a section 7. So probably it'll be about 2 more weeks after this week until our next test. So, but some of you know that you might not have done how you wanted on that first test. So you need to change some things to start studying now to get it handled. I don't think the mathematics is challenging in this chapter. I think it's the understanding and the vocabulary that's challenging. Making sense of what the question is asking you is harder than actually mathematically getting the answers. Okay? All right. So that being said, you can still see my screen, I hope. Yes. Try this problem. What's the probability of rolling a 3 on a single-sided die? Just the probability of rolling a 3 on a single-sided die. Get it ready in the chat, and we'll do it in just a sec. All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Excellent. So it's 1/6. And it's 1 because there's 1 3 on the dice, and there's 6 total outcomes. So you might say our sample space is 6 in this case, and the outcome that we want, or the event happening, is just 1 because it's a 3. Okay. Now, today we're going to talk about something called compliments. And we're not talking about compliments like, "Ooh, you look good today," or "I like that shirt," or "your hair looks nice." These are compliments that are mathematical. So the complement of an event is the event not happening. So sometimes they use E for the event, and it's important that you think of something like this. The probability of the event happening plus the probability of the event not happening should be equal to 1. So, and we can find the probability of the complement by using the probability of the event happening. So for example, on your first question, we said the probability of rolling a 3 was 1 out of 6. Any guesses on what's the probability of not rolling a 3? Very nice, Haley, 5 out of 6, right? Because we know that 1 out of 6 plus 5 out of 6 has to total 1. And you could also think of it like this. There are 5 numbers on the dice that aren't 3, so that would be 5 out of a total of 6. So I don't think this is too terrible. I do want to show you something right here, and some of you might want this doc, and I can put it in our chat in just a second. Do you remember our deck of cards from the other day? Here it is at the top. Then we have basic probability, which we've already figured out. Then this is what we're working on today, the complement of an event. And then we're going to do odds for an event and odds against an event. Then down here, this from expected value to the bottom, that's the rest of the probability information. So expected value is what we're going to do tomorrow, and then 4 is independent events, I think. And then you'll see we get into permutations and combinations. So this is your formula sheet for this section, and I'll put it in the chat for you. So if you really struggle with cards and you need this reference sheet, this might be real helpful for you when you are just doing your homework, trying to get some stuff done. Okay, so I'll put it in the chat for you. So if you need to pull that up, you can have that. You can make your own copy, you know, whatever you need to. Oh, I don't want to show you all the answers. Hold on. There we go. All right. So let's do some complements. So if you pick one card at random from a standard deck of 52 cards, what's the probability it will not be a king? So you can do it one of 2 ways. You can figure out the probability of it being a king, which is what we did last Thursday, or you could just figure and subtract that from 1, or you could just figure out how many not kings there are in the deck. So we know that there are 4 kings in a deck of cards. So if we take 52 minus 4, we're going to get 48, and those are not kings. So if we're trying to find the probability that it's not a king, or sometimes we write it like this, the probability of the complement of a king with a line over the top of it like that, we can write a fraction. So probability is always the successes or the outcomes you're looking for over the total. So in this case, it would be 48 over 52. And then we could simplify that by dividing the numerator and denominator by 4. So we get 12 over 13. So the probability that it's not a king is 12 out of 13. Any questions on how I found that? All right, I want you to do part B. So remember, we're trying to find the probability that it's not a diamond because we're looking at complements. The probability it's not a diamond, and simplify it, and then you're going to put it in the chat in just a minute. So I'll give you about 1 minute to think. You guys are so excited to put it in the chat. You didn't want to wait for me? It's all right. I know you're all excited. It's okay. If you didn't want to look at the answer yet, don't look at the chat. All right, a minute to you guys must seem like an hour or something. Okay, so a lot of people got 3/4. And then Cameron gave me some more information and says 39 over 52, and then it simplifies to 3/4. So you could do two different things. You could just use that formula sheet that I gave you. Did you notice that it was a horizontal in rows, right? And in those rows, there were 4 of them, and one of the rows was a diamond. So you could have just said, oh, not a diamond, must have been 3 of those rows out of 4 rows. Or you could have said, okay, how many not diamonds are in a deck of cards? And exactly like Cameron showed, is 39 out of 52, which simplifies. And some of you are like, oh, how does that simplify? 13 actually goes into both of them. So that's 3/4. You could do it a different way. If you know that there are 13 diamonds, then you would know that that's 13/52, which is the same as 1/4. And then you could say 1 whole minus 1/4, and it would be 3/4. This way to me is a little messier or longer to think about. I usually use this strategy, but notice sometimes when you're online in more and it has a little help video, it's going to give you a different way than you're used to. So don't get bogged down in those videos. That's why it's important when you're in class to take notes from how I say it, because sometimes I say it in a simpler version than more might say it in. Okay. All right. Now this time really wait for a 3, 2, 1 chat on the last one. Okay. Yes, everybody wait for a 3, 2, 1 chat. Okay, so look at the probability that it's not a face card. And I'll only give you about 30 seconds since some of you can't handle a whole minute because that's too traumatizing. Some of you just can't wait. Okay, we'll do 3, 2, 1, go. It's okay. I should be thankful that you want to answer, right? It's true. I should be. Okay, 10 out of 13. Laura, do you want to explain how you got that? Oh, you're muted.
Sorry.
There you go.
Okay. So I just so I just calculated. I just used one of the how do you call them? So diamond, spades. How do you call those?
Suits.
Suits.
Okay. Is that what you're talking about?
So I just calculated that in one suit you have 3 face cards. So I said then 10 out of those 13 cards that are on one suit are gonna be non-face cards. So that's
nice. And that would be the same for each suit, right?
Yeah, so that would,
Excellent.
yeah, so that, I thought that that was the simpler way to do it.
Nice. That's a great way to do it. Did anyone do it differently? Morgan, how'd you do it?
So this I like learned from more. So I do like 1/1 minus 12/52, which basically just means like 52 minus 12 and then just simplify it, which I like that method a lot.
Excellent. And the 12/52 came from in each suit, there are 3 face cards. So 3, 6, 9, 12. And then you would get 40/52. And then you would know that a 4 goes into both of those. And so you'd get 10 out of 13. But remember, we were looking for the complement, right? So is that, wait, hold on. I went a little crazy over here. So 1 minus 12 out of 52. Oh, I just went crazy and wrote a weird number. Ten out of 13. So, Laura, do you see where your idea was a little off? You had in one suit, there's 3 out of 10. But that was really 3 out of 13. And so there were 10 that were not face cards, right? So it's 10 out of 13, which is what I would have gotten if I would have had 40 out of 52 and divided the top by 4, I get 10, divided the bottom by 4, and I get 52. So this idea of 3 out of 10, we're going to use in just a little bit. Okay, I still see Laura's strategy. Do you guys see Laura's strategy? So there was really 3 out of 13. So there must have been 10 out of 13 that were not face cards. Does that make sense?
Okay. I got 10 out of 13. I don't know why I said 3 out of 10.
Who knows? Maybe I said it too.
Okay.
We're good. We're all on the same page now. Okay. So, and here it is how I have it written out. And I use that same strategy that Morgan explained. Do you see that 1 minus 12/52? That's what Morgan explained. And that's what Moore did for you too. All right, so now before I go over odds in favor and odds against, I'm gonna have you guys do just a little bit of practice. And we're just gonna do it here in this main room, but I'm gonna put up a worksheet so you can see it. And then if you wanna make your own copy, you totally can, but you don't have to. So I'm gonna put the link in the chat so you can all see it. And then I'll share my screen so you guys can see the problem. So let me put that up. All right. So this is the same as the document I just put in the chat. It says complete the following problems in class, show all your work. You can get help from your team, but try to keep these problems, complete these on your own. So if you're privately chatting with somebody on your team while you're doing this, just to make sure your answer's right, that's totally fine. So let's make sense of this first table. It says this is the number of credit cards owned by a group of individuals. So, and they have it split out between males and females, and then they have whether they have 0, 1, 2, or more credit cards, and then they have it totaled. So for example, if you're looking across this first row, there are nine males that only have 1 credit, or that have 0 credit cards. There's 5 that only have 1, and then there's 19 that have 2 or more. So there's a total of 33 males in this study, okay, or in this survey that they did. Then if you look the other way, down a column, this, it doesn't matter if they're male or female. They're just saying 9 of the people have no credit cards, 18 of the people have no credit cards, and then they're saying, okay, there's a total of 27 in this study that have no credit cards. Okay, so I want you to answer to part A and part B. I'm sorry, number 1, part A and part B. If you answer both of those, don't type them in the chat, privately chat them to me, yes? But type both answers in the same time. So like type A and the answer and B and the answer, and privately chat it to me so I can check every person. Make sure you guys simplify your fractions. All right, I'm getting some answers from some people, but not everyone. And I want to clarify something. When it says part B, it says find the probability that a person chosen at random has at least one credit card. That's a minimum requirement. They have to have at least one credit card. Could they have more than one credit card? Yeah, they could have more than one credit card. So think that answer. I'm answering your chat, so it's just taking a while. All right. So let's take a look at some of these. On the first one, I think some of you are having trouble simplifying. So your original fraction should have been 27 out of 81 because the 27 for part A was no credit card. So we were looking at this column. So we have a total of 27 and the people in the study was 81. Does anyone know how to simplify a fraction using their calculator? Yes or no? Okay, so how many of you have this calculator versus this calculator? Anyone have either of these? Okay, do you want to see it on either of these? All right, so I'll do it on both. So first, let's start with the scientific calculator. If you have a scientific calculator and you put 27 divided by 81, it gives you this 0.33333, right? Well, we don't want that. We want a fraction. So I have to remember the steps how to do it. There's a button that says fraction to decimal with a little with a little arrow on it. It's on the PRB menu. Do you see that? So if you hit second, do you have a TI-30X2S, Laura? What kind of calculator do you have? Oh, we'll find it on that one. I just have to think of where that number is, where that menu is. If you have this one, you just hit second, that F to D button and enter, and it gives you, can you see that, 1/3? It gives you 1/3 on this one. On this one, this was the one Matt had, I know, it's similar. You might have an 83, this is an 84. If you type 27 divided by 81, it gives you that 0.3333, right? But then if you follow these steps, hit math, and then the first one says fraction. Do you see the button that says math? And then it says under number 1, it has FRAC. Hit enter and hit enter again, and it'll give you a fraction of 1/3. Do you see that?
So
okay, so Morgan's saying she's using Calculator Soup. Let's look at our Desmos calculator. Do you remember that one that I gave you? Because those are the ones that will be allowed on the test. So I'll pull up that one and see if we have this fraction to decimal button. 27 divided by 81. Hold on, clear. 27 divided by 81. And then enter, and then I'm gonna hit, there we go. Okay, so let me share, oh good, Laura said she figured out how to do it on hers. I'm gonna stop sharing over here and share on with my Desmos calculator. This sounds silly, but it's important that we all know how to use the right calculator correctly. So I'm gonna share my screen. I have too many screens open. Here's my Desmos calculator. So I'll clear it. I'll type in 27 divided by 81, and I get that answer. Do you see this little circle over here? It says convert to fraction. If I push it, it gives me the simplified fraction. If I push it again, it'll give me the decimal. So this Desmos calculator is very handy, okay? I don't mind you using other calculators. You just have to be careful and make sure that you learn one that you are able to use for the test, okay? So 1/3 should be just the first part. The second part that sometimes confused, you have to add 15 plus 39, and that gives you 54 over 81. Does everybody see why we would add those two? And so 54 over 81, same thing. If you simplify, you will get 2 over 3. Now, what's interesting about that is, did you notice those are actually complements of each other? So people either had 0 credit cards or they had 1 or more credit cards. So 1/3 plus 2/3 must be 1 whole. So you could have kind of circumvented the mathematics and done it that way. It's kind of a little bit trickier. Any questions on that? Okay, we'll go to, to drawing on our screen. Let's go to number 2, and then 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 is way down there. So on numbers 2 and 3, it's just finding the complement. Find the probability it's not a heart, then find the probability it's not a 6. On 4 and 5, it gives you the probability of the event happening, and it wants you to find the complement, or vice versa. So find all 4 of those answers. Please do me a favor, listen very carefully right now. Chat privately to all 4 answers in one chat. Otherwise, my chat gets crazy full and I can't keep track. So answer all 4 questions, then privately chat me, okay? So you have this doc, or I'll make sure I keep that on the screen right there, okay? I'm gonna give you like 2 whole minutes, or until I get answers from everyone.
Question 2 to 5, right?
Yes, questions 2 to 5, because then you get into something that we don't know yet. Okay, please listen and give me all the answers at one time, not just one answer at a time. I want all 4 together. All right. So let's talk about these. Make sure you understand how to do them because you'll have to do these on your homework as well. Some of you are getting the right idea. Some of you are, you just kind of stopped after, if it was a little bit harder, you decided you couldn't do it. So make sure you really put it out there that you want to, you know, try to get those answers correct. So on this one, let me share this. I don't know why it just shared that. That was annoying. Should not be sharing that screen. Okay. Oh my gosh, why does it hate me? That is not what I was looking at. Is it sharing a key for you? Can you guys see any screen up there? Can someone chat me? Yes, you can see it, or no, you can't. Okay. So on number, you get 39 out of 50. See how it says 13 are hearts? So there must be 39 that are not hearts, so that's 3/4. On number 3, you get 48 out of 52, which is 12 out of 13. And you could be using the strategy that Morgan used as well. On number 4, I want you to take a look at this because some of you made mistakes on number 4. If I know that the numerator is the successes and the denominator is the total, if I want to find the opposite of that, I'm going to take, do you see that 61 over 61 is the whole, or 1, minus 24 over 61, so I get 37 over 61. And then on number 5, again, 48 out of 48, that's the total, or 1, minus 38 out of 40, 10 over 4, 5, 24 of the probability it's not happening. Okay, so make sure that you practice those and you practice simplifying. Now, the second part of this lesson is about odds. And when we're talking about odds, you have to make sure you're looking at odds in favor. So in odds in favor, you can see right here that I said, okay, remember when we went back to the beginning and we just talked about rolling a specific number on the dice? So the odds in favor of rolling a 4, instead of doing successes to total, you do success to failure. And notice it has a colon in the middle there now. It's a ratio instead of just a fraction. You can write it as a fraction, but for our brains, sometimes it's easier to help us get the right answer if we write fractions for probability, but we write ratios for odds, okay? And notice it says the probability of the event happening over the probability of it not happening, which I like thinking of success to failures. So there's 1 4 on the dice. There are 5 not 4s on the dice. So instead of 1 to 6 for probability, we get 1 to 5 for odds in favor. Does that make sense? Now, odds against, all you do is flip these. So in odds against, notice it's just 5 to 1 instead of 1 to 5. Okay? So don't get tricked on those types of problems. So if you look at one of these, we can do one of these live so it makes sense to you. And these are all on your slides that'll be in Canvas after this. So the odds in favor of a king, we want success to failure. So how many kings are there? There's 4, which means there's 48 not kings, because if I do 52 minus, oh, you can't see my screen right now? I am sharing. Thank you, Jose, for telling me. All right, So these slides are what I just went over. So complement we already did. Success 1 to 5 to success to failure. And then that's odds in favor. And odds against are 5 to 1. Okay. So 5 to 1 versus 1 to 5. And then what we were doing was this problem, which is the odds in favor of a king would be success to failures. So there's 4 kings and there's 48 not kings. So my odds in favor would be 1 to 48, which could simplify to 1 to 12. If I want odds against, it would be 12 to 1. All you do is reverse them. And then notice that if I really wanted my total is the successes plus the failures added together, right? Okay, so I'm going to show you your exit ticket. I'll put it in the chat. You have your more practice and you have a mini lesson. The next topic is a little bit harder, so we'll spend 2 days on that. So make sure that you do your mini lesson so you're on top of it. If you found today hard, you probably want to schedule a meeting with me or in the tutoring center so you can get that handled before we get too much further, because each section is different in here and it changes a lot, section by section, and a lot of it is vocabulary. Okay. All right, so do your exit ticket. If you want to work ahead through the week, you totally can. I will post this recording too, and I will see you tomorrow.
Miss Class, and I have a question.
Yeah.
It's about the problem that we did at the very beginning of the class.
The warm-up one?
Yes, that one.
Okay.
Wait, just 1 second. So it says it's a single-sided die. So wouldn't that mean it just has one side?
Good question. I think there's a little typo here. It should say a single 6-sided die.
Oh, okay. Because I typed like 0 out of 1 because I was like, if it just has one side, then
I'm
there's
so
no.
happy you said that because I wouldn't have noticed that.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Thank you so
you are
much.
correct. Yep.
Okay.
See you later.